My next guest is a Northeast Nebraska native. His love for skateboarding prompted him to open Wisper Skateshop. Bryce, thanks for making time to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm Zach Miller with my co-host Vance Neidig.
Nice to meet you, Bryce.
And special guest Ryne Battershaw.
How's it going?
And we are touching base with Bryce Schmitz today. Bryce, let's start a little bit in your early years. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Tilden, lived in a little ran down house outside of town. We moved around a lot, but yeah, born in Norfolk, raised in Tilden.
Where'd y'all move around to? Is it like in your early years, like when you were younger?
Yeah, we moved around Tilden, just house to house in Tilden.
Oh, just in Tilden, okay.
Yeah, but we moved to, Columbus, Norfolk, Neely. We moved quite a bit, but it was always the surrounding areas.
Okay. Where did you go to high school at?
So I started high school went to school in Tilden and then did homeschooling and then went to Battle Creek School and then also went to Norfolk High.
So I went to Norfolk High too, okay.
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. I'd have been way after my time in Battle Creek then.
Yeah, I went to the Catholic school?
Oh, the Lutheran school? St. John's?
School. Yep. I only went for, it was like a month.
Oh, so that was like during elementary years and up to junior high, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't have junior high. I can't really remember.
Yeah,
I never went to St. John's. I was always in the public system, so.
Right.
Did you do any college or anything?
Nope.
That's okay. I didn't do much of it either, so don't worry about that.
Did you enjoy the homeschooling aspect?
Yeah. All of my school years, I was never, I hated it so much, and God, I was just a horrible student. And then, I started doing homeschooling. I graduated through homeschooling, but
Who taught you? Your mom or your dad or a family member?
So my mom, she would help out, but we went through Penn Foster. So it's an online schooling, and they have
they kind of handle everything?
Yep, the whole system.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't really know that. That was what it was.
I knew they existed. I just didn't know. Yeah, that's really cool.
So did she kind of worked with you, and there was no like set schedule or anything, so you were able to. You technically had your schoolwork, but it was a little more freedom oriented, where that type of thing, like do it when you got time to do it, not really rigid and structured.
Yeah, it started out like that, like structured, but eventually it got to the point where it's like, all right, just get it done. She's a single mom raising two boys, So it's just get it done when you can.
And both of you were doing it?
My brother, he did it like his last year. He did homeschooling his senior year.
How old were you? Like what grade did you start homeschooling then?
We started after 6th grade. And then that's when I went back, went to Battle Creek and then went to Norfolk. So I think 8th grade is when I quit finally and then just did homeschooling.
Okay. There's a lot of kids that do that, I think, up to like the high school age.
Yep.
That do homeschooling.
Right.
We had a lot, even when I was in school, that would participate in sports early, like 7th grade, 8th grade, homeschooling into the public system, and then they'd come over and actually go to school at the high school.
Oh, yeah.
So was it hard during the homeschooling time to like meet friends? Did you already have like a core friend group at the time?
Yeah. That was the main thing is, up to 6th grade, I had all, all the friends, I knew all the kids in Tilden, and we always hung out like every single day.
You knew all the kids in that huge town?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's probably pretty easy to do.
Right. I know our house was kind of the gathering spot. We'd always have like 14 kids there just hanging out.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I wish kids would do that more nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
They probably do in the smaller towns though, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems like it,
Yeah.
It's tough around here. Maybe it's somewhat me too, but I need to talk to the parents before I'm just letting
your kids go over and not know what's
go
going
over
on.
Or even kids come over. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a douchey dad.
No, I think that's more how it is nowadays, though.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to know the parent.
Because like in a small town, all the parents probably know each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I don't even know not even half. I only know like 2 parents that Christian.
Yeah, and in the smaller town for sure. And I'd imagine a lot of it in Norfolk's kind of that way, but like you knew as a kid that you're getting disciplined. from whatever parent. You don't have to worry about your parent finding out. Your buddy's parents are gonna whoop your ass or do whatever. They'll give you your little ass chewing or whatever you need because you were getting that parenting from the town. Basically, everybody was kind of on the same page that way.
Yeah,
that's funny. So you had a pretty close friend group in your teens, though, right?
Yeah,
that somewhat inspired the skate shop a little bit.
Yeah, yep. So, when I was 12, 13 years old, that's when it all kind of started. I was constantly staying at my buddy's house in Meadowgrove, and 300 people in the town, nothing to do. And gosh, we lived in Meadowgrove as well. Not at that time, but throughout the time, And so growing up there, there's nothing to do. So we ended up starting a little group. It was like I don't want to say gang, but like our group, It was like our tight knit group, and we called it Wisper. It was all skate related, and constantly, we were just little shits. We'd steal cigarettes from, my buddy's mom, and be sitting on the roof smoking cigarettes at like 13 years old, talking about Wisper becoming some big brand, and constantly writing up shirt designs, board designs. There's notebooks out there, and I need to find them, but there's so many notebooks out there, just so many designs, and it was definitely our life back then. But then, where Wisper really came apart is, on my 14th birthday, two of the friends that were involved in it, they ended up passing away in a bad car wreck. So my mom woke me up that day and told me about it, and I'm sure you guys have got news like that before, and it's, when you get that news, you don't really believe it, so I
lost a really good friend that way. My dad I was literally at home for the weekend, back from a different town, and I got told at midnight or whatever, so-and-so passed away. And it's tough.
Oh yeah.
It's a rough deal.
It's like you don't even want to believe it, know, and so that day I called the one's brother, the one that, I was really close to his brother, and called him, and sitting outside the farmhouse, just on the phone, like bawling. And I told him, like, someday we're going to turn Wisper into something. And that, that just goes to show the fact that was on my mind during that time is like, that's how much Wisper was of, our life at the time. And I just told him we're going to turn this into something someday.
How hard was that? Obviously it was hard, but can you walk us through some of the pain that you went through for those, a couple years there?
Yeah. God, that night, so with it being my birthday, as a kid,
So it was literally on your birthday that this happened?
Yeah, I woke up and, woke up on my birthday and got that news. So that day, my mom, she's like, do you want to have people out? Because we were going to have the family come out and, and have a little get together. So it kind of went back and forth for a while, and I was like, all right, let's do it. That's what they would want, whatever. And, I was so young, but, so the family comes out. I ended up, I went upstairs and kind of just hung out alone for a while. And then, that night had a couple buddies come out, and that's, gosh, I can't say that like my drinking and everything came from that moment, but that night is the first time that I like actually enjoyed drinking, because I don't know, maybe I felt the pain and it kind of took it away, or what the deal was. But
you were trying to fill a hole of some sort, or you were trying to find, I don't know fixing it some way that really wasn't probably fixing it, but it felt like it was fixing it, type of deal.
Yeah.
It feels like it takes the pain away sometimes.
Yeah, deadens the pain.
Yeah, 100%.
So is that kind of where you think that some of the alcohol started? Was right after that?
Yeah, I would say so. And it's completely on me. It was all my choice to do all that stuff. But yeah, 14. I don't know how deep we can get on here, but
we can get as deep as you want.
Deep as you're comfortable to go.
That's what we're here for. So as long, whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, yeah, so I started smoking weed as well. Like that night was the first time I ever, because I tried weed. The first time I tried weed I was 12 years old, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like it at all. And then tried it a couple other times, didn't like it. That night we drank, we smoked, and I fell in love with both of them. So then I ended up.
Had you drank before that too then? Or was that kind of a double?
Yeah, I drank, but it was never like, drinking to get
heavily?
drunk.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was just
Like
have a
stealing your
beer.
dad's beer, that type of thing. Stealing one of your buddy's dad's beers and just, hey, let's try having a beer type of thing.
Yeah. 100%.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get the timeline there.
Oh, no. So yeah, I ended up meeting this guy, and I'm 14 years old. He was 27 at the time, and I mean, he was selling all sorts of drugs, and so met him. I told him, I was like, hey, I know so many like kids that want to smoke weed. Like, let me sell some weed for you. So ended up getting together with him, and I remember staying at his house at 14 years old, and this is the first time I ever tried pills. He said, hey, snort this. And first, most people, first time they try, they, swallow them or whatever. But yeah, 14 years old, snorted a couple, they were hydros, hydrocodone or whatever at the time. And then I fell in love with hydros at 14. Well, not just hydros, but the whole pill industry. I just fell in love with that. And yeah, everything just really went downhill.
So at 14, that's an early start for some of that. So I don't want to jump around too much. So I want to keep kind of going. I'm trying to think of how to word my questions here. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. How about that?
Yeah.
Can you walk us through just a little bit of how your guys' the two that passed away, how your guys' love for skateboarding and art came about? Like, what inspired you guys?
God, what's inspired us? I mean, I think looking back, like the shows like Robin Big with Rob Deerdick.
I was just wondering if that was around that timeline when Robin Big was just really big back then, because I'm just trying to put your age with my age and where that would be.
And you guys have probably seen the Fantasy Factory too, right?
Yeah, Fantasy
that would
Factory.
have been after Robin Big, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, like Viva La Bam, CKY, all those guys, and this thrash. I mean, there was a lot of influences, but yeah, we like the whole town of Tilden, all of us kids, we started skating together, and then slowly but surely everyone just kind of fell off, and then ended up being I was the last one left that actually skated. I mean, they might bust their boards out, when it starts to get nice, but they would only have it out for like a week and then put it away. And I was like the only one that kept going. And then that's when I met Alex. He would have been Christian, the one that passed away. It would be his brother. And Alex, he was like a really good friend, and we just skated every day together. And then his brother Christian, the one that passed, he was just super big into art. And I mean, he was 15 years old when he passed, and he was like all into like Buddhism, and he was just such a loving guy, you know? And yeah, he was just super, super big into art. So he would do like all of our designs and everything. And that's really why I want to find that book, because all those designs are going to be his designs, and it'd be cool to bring them back and actually put them on some product,
Yeah.
Do you know where that book is?
I have no
idea.
I've tried asking his mom, asking him, but yeah, we gotta find that.
That'd be cool if you could.
Right.
For sure. But back when you were 14, when this all happened, was there ever any talk of any kind of therapy for the tragedy, or was it just kind of?
No talk of therapy or nothing. Just deal with it.
Right. So back to the drugs, the alcohol. So you're 14, take the hydros. How far down did you go? Like, how far down the rabbit hole? Like, how many years was this such a problem for you?
Gosh, I got sober at 22, so
Also quite a while.
8 years, basically.
yeah. And sometimes I'll say like 10 years of doing drugs, but I didn't really fall in love with it. So that those 2 years was kind of just messing around, but but yeah, I don't know. It got to the point, so I really I got on probation. I just loved smoking weed. Like, we'd drink every once in a while, and I enjoyed it. But the main thing was smoking weed, and I really loved that. Then I got on probation for one of the nights that we were drinking, and I have quite a few charges, and they've always been drinking related. But yeah, I love smoking weed, got on probation, and then that's when like the alcohol really came in, because when you're on probation, you got to take piss tests, and you fail for weed, and I could get away with the alcohol. So I think I was 16 years old, and I mean, I drank every single day, and it got to the point where I'd be drinking at family events and just drinking every day. But for the other stuff, like the pills and everything, I mean, that got pretty out of hand as well. It went from, I mean, everything starts the same way, you start smoking cigarettes, then you smoke weed, then you take a pill, then and it went from, well, initially smoking cigarettes to smoking weed to popping pills to, doing coke, doing whatever, whatever would get me going. But
when you were during the drinking time, were you drinking alone a lot too? Was that? Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a stint of that too, so I kind of see where you're coming from
Right.
on that stint. You always feel like once you start drinking alone, that's when it's probably a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
How much were you drinking at the time?
I was so broke, so as much as I could. But I mean, gosh, at very minimum, it'd be at least a 6-pack. My drink of choice, I would just get Keystone, just cheap Stone,
That's not too bad.
Yeah, so
stuff.
I'd get those little 16-ounce cans and 6-pack of those at minimum. But
Yeah. It's
But
like
yeah.
every night.
yeah, every single night. Yep.
And you felt like you absolutely had to do it, or you did it to, you know what I mean? Did you feel bad if you didn't do it? Did you feel like I had to do it, and if I couldn't do it, then you felt like your world was ending, basically? Or
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got to that point where, I mean, it got to the point I got pretty bad with like liquor as well. Every time I drank liquor, I would just black out, and it was never a good time. But I mean, there was a point though where I would shake if I wasn't drinking, and I mean, even just a few hours of not, or like a day or so, I'd just have a little bit of a shake, and so yeah, it definitely got a little bit rough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it happens. But you're probably, I mean, a lot of it was probably numbing some of the pain. You were just trying to get away from life a little bit.
Yeah,
Is that kind of what?
God, at the same time though, it's like, God, I feel that I had a great childhood,
Yeah.
like I mean, I had a wonderful childhood, especially compared to other kids. It's like, so I don't know if there was pain or just stupidity or, what it was, but I mean, I did it and got hooked on it.
Yeah. So did you have any scary experiences with some of the drugs? Was there ever a point where was there any like overdose scares or like?
Me personally, no. There was a point like here in Norfolk, a girl took, I don't remember what she took, but took something, and then we had to call the ambulance. We had to clear the whole house out, get all this stuff out because the cops are coming as well. And that was I mean, the closest thing. She was like having
But nothing ever for you personally.
Yeah, never for me.
Did that scare you a little bit, seeing somebody else go through it?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. But
were you high at the time, so like it didn't really register at the time?
Yeah, and I mean like at the time, I think the cops scared me more than anything.
Yeah. Because they don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. I was just an idiot, an idiot, and
Well, stuff happens. I mean, we all go through certain times of our life where there's some struggle.
right,
I just commend you for talking about it. Really,
right,
it's probably a tough thing to talk about.
yeah, a little bit.
You try to, do you ever try to like, do you put your story out there to try to steer younger generations or younger people away from going the same path you did?
Yep.
Even though you turned out fine, I mean, you're being successful now, but like you went through struggles that maybe somebody else doesn't have to go through, and they could be like, I look at it as, were you not doing that? I mean, you could already be 10 or 15 steps ahead. You know what I mean? Like to where you are now. Like you just would have started what you're doing now that much earlier.
Oh yeah, 100%. I constantly think about that. It's like, I mean, gosh, yeah, I constantly think about that. And for trying to steer kids off, that's my main mission. Is from the beginning of the skate shop and getting sober and everything. That has been my mission from the start. And I don't know, it's kind of a battle because it's like we don't want the store to be a hangout, just because, we're trying to run a business, we're trying to grow, we're trying to do, actual stuff. So we can't have 12 kids there every day. So it's kind of a battle.
Just doing nothing, just taking up, I mean, not doing it, but taking up space for potential more customers type of thing is what you're looking at.
Yeah. And I mean, kids are kids.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They're kind of rowdy sometimes. And yeah, so it's kind of a battle, but I'll always, I mean, when there's a lot of them, I'll say, hey, like, let's head out for the day. But if there's just a couple of them, and especially the ones that are troubled, I mean, and it's cool too that I've got to a point where these kids feel that they can trust me, and I can, actually give them some guidance and not just shun them for what they're doing. Just tell them like, hey, keep doing that. This is going to happen.
Because you were probably shunned a little bit for your activities, right? Like with skating. At that time, there probably wasn't a very popular thing around here. I mean, it was, but not like for. Were you shunned away from places? Like, were you told to leave certain areas?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's especially with school. It's like going back to school. Every teacher in that school, not every. There's just a couple of teachers that were good to me, but almost every teacher just looked at me as trash, and I think that was a big reason why I didn't necessarily like it. It's because I was so overlooked, and like, not that I needed to be praised or nothing, but I mean, they just treated me like garbage. I mean, there's this one time, me and my buddy Alex, it was a science project that we did, and we were wheeling out this big tray of dirt out to the playground and dumping it, and so the whole class is wheeling their project out, and then me and Alex, we dump it in the playground instead of next to the fence. So the teacher gets the principal to come out, and then the principal sends everybody inside, including Alex. I mean, there was 4 hands on that tray, and he sends Alex in as well. And then he's stepping on my toes and like physically stepping on my toes and chest bumping me, and nobody's out, it's just me and him. And he's, this tall guy, six something, big guy. And yeah, he's bumping me with his chest, and my brother, God, he had left at the time or whatever happened with him, but he was telling me, he's like, why don't you just drop out like your brother, as he's bumping me with his chest. And yeah, I mean, but I deserved it in a way, like just being a little shit and being rebellious to all the teachers.
I don't know if you deserve that though.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little far.
Yeah.
But
how do you, I don't know. There's different views on it. It's tough to, because I think they should guide every kid. Right. Not tell you to drop out like your brother or whatever.
Right.
It says.
100%.
I think there's ways around some of that crap. Yeah.
And there was definitely, God, there was a couple teachers that were good, and they always looked out for me a little bit. But, it got so bad. I just wouldn't do anything when it came to the paperwork and everything. I wouldn't do anything. So I would walk into class and just tell them, like, hey, I'm not doing anything today. So I deserve a lot of the stuff that I got. But, yeah, they ended up getting, they thought I was, like, slow, like, mentally slow. So they ended up bringing in a specialist. And this guy, whoever he was, they did an IQ test, and I ended up getting 139 for my IQ. And yeah, he told my mom, he's like, I asked him a college question that he should not know, and he answered it right away. And I remember him asking me some crazy question, and I don't know if telepathy's real or what, but I just rambled out the answer and got it right, I guess. But
that's good. Huh.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
they this constant overlook, and I don't know. I felt like there was more to life than looking at a book and studying everything.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
I went through the same thing. I hate schooling. To me, the rigidness, and it was never. It would bore me. It was too easy, so it would bore me, and same with you. I didn't do homework. Right. Homework was the absolute. I can't stand homework, and I don't think homework. And I think we talk about it on certain podcasts, or maybe I don't think homework should be a thing. Right. I think they've
gotten away from it a little bit.
Yeah, I think it needs to be done. If you can't do it in school, you're not doing your job right as a teacher, in my opinion. Right. And you don't need to do homework too. Some people probably need to keep writing shit. Some people need to study. I don't need to study. Tell me one time, I'm probably going to know what it is. Right. That's the way I've always been. During school years, anyway, basically. But
you're there for however many months out of the year, 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. You don't need to be coming home and doing homework.
And you're going from, you're going 8 hours a day. Ain't no need for homework.
No. You don't need to be doing homework on a weekend. You don't need to be doing homework at night, because there's other shit you could be learning from your family, and that's where the parents' job comes in. is like then they start teaching you more real world shit. Whereas the teachers, if they're not going to teach the real world shit, then the parents have to, and then the teachers just handle your basic schooling while you're there, while our kids are there, and they're paid to be at that school at that time. There's no need for us to be doing homework at home.
Right, 100%.
And the only time Christian brings it home is if he doesn't get it done at school. That's just because he's just a procrastinator.
That's
that's
Barrett too. He does the same shit. So
again,
COVID
I don't. Then that's too much homework in my opinion. They don't need to be doing it.
He just doesn't do it.
I still wouldn't do it. Like I'm making this argument, and I still wouldn't do it at school.
He's busy drawing Chicago Bears stuff on the bottom of the math sheet, and it's like, dude.
Well, that's his problem right there. That's the number one problem. Chicago Bears.
Shit.
Like draw something else.
Yeah, well.
So did you have like a mentor or a teacher or somebody else in your life at that time that kind of helped you through some things, or?
Just my mom, really. You know, my mom, she's always guided me through everything, and she's like a true entrepreneur to the bone, just always coming up with crazy ideas, and I mean doing those ideas, and yeah, she guided me through a lot.
That's good to hear. That's awesome. It's good when your family can help with some of that stuff.
Is she a big part of what you do now?
Not necessarily. She'll help out, and like when I need help with something, you know, I'll usually ask her first, and if she don't know, then you know, try to find the answer somewhere else. But yeah, she helps me out a lot, just with, I don't know, just the other day she came and covered the shop because I had to take care of some other stuff. So yeah, she definitely helps out quite a bit.
That's good. Do you? I forgot what I was going to say. So you're completely sober?
Yep.
Now?
Yep.
When was that?
2020, I was 22 years old. That's when I officially got sober.
See, I have nothing against weed. I don't do it myself,
Right.
but I have nothing against it unless it becomes a problem, obviously. Or do you? I hate to say this. Do you ever see yourself going back to something like that, or do you think you'd end up relapsing to other stuff?
I don't know. I'd like to say that I can, you know, do it and be fine now, just from how much I've grown. Mm-hmm. But I prefer to not.
It's not
try.
worth the risk, is kind of the way you look at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I've got a lot of friends that smoke weed recreationally outside of work, or
right,
smoke a bowl at night to go to sleep. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I can't smoke weed. I get too in my head, and I mean, especially now, like running the business, I'm sure you guys know, you just got so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
So you smoke weed, you're just going to be freaking out about everything.
Right. So how did you end up dealing with that? Like getting your life back on track? What, was there somebody that influenced you? Did you do it all on your own?
Gosh,
something just clicked in your head?
Yeah, really just, so I started the skate shop, in 2019, finally got the skate shop going. And, it was a dream come true. I finally got it. And I was still just drinking so horribly. And, I was in like a 6-year relationship. It was super toxic. I mean, constant fighting and just like living in the trailer park. Our trailer, it ended up getting condemned. It was just, pretty rough living. But so me and her, we ended up splitting, and she moved out of town, and then I was staying at the trailer still because I owned the trailer, and I was just sitting there like, man, this doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm just sitting there waiting for her to like come home. So I ended up having the trailer. I put it online, and then had some people that were gonna buy it, and I moved to the skate shop. I just made like a little tiny bedroom in the back. It was the whole shop altogether with the back area was like 1,100 square foot. So just a tiny little space, but the actual storefront of it was like 700 square foot. But I ended up moving over there, and then with the whole trailer situation, somebody was going to buy it. But it needed to be fixed up. So when I was living there, I was living with no electricity for like 3 months after she moved, and just drinking all the time. I mean,
Jeez.
it was rough. I mean, God, that wasn't like the first time living with no electric, but it was definitely a long stint. But so those people, we agreed like, hey, buy it. They're gonna buy it for $5,000, and they ended up they wanted to get the electric on so they could work on it before they moved in. And so with the electric being turned on, the city had to inspect it. So they sent an inspector, ended up getting the whole place condemned. And
no.
I just remember that day, I was like, gosh, dang. Like I was thinking like, all right, 5,000, I'm going to dump it all into the store and, really build off of that. So going from thinking that you're getting 5,000 to, having to pay for the place to get removed. I mean, that was a wrecking ball. But
I'm sure. Sounds like it.
yeah.
That's definitely a crazy time living in the back. Like, walk us through that a little bit. Like, what was that like?
Did it feel like it was kind of an excitement to you? Like, I got to work and live here at the same time, or did you look at it as I just got to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I was still drinking, so it was just, I don't know. The shower that I had was horrible. I didn't have a place to wash my clothes. The actual home aspect of it was horrible, but the fact that it was, I mean, maybe 100 feet from the bar, that was pretty awesome at the time.
Because this was on 3rd Street, right?
Yeah, right by
District right there in Harbor.
Yeah, the Harbor. Yeah, that's where we'd always go. But I mean, it was kind of exciting at the time, and looking back now, it's like, gosh, those were such fun times, And my buddy Alex, he ended up moving in there with me as well.
In the shop there.
Yeah, so we're just, I mean, crammed in there, living on top of each other pretty much. And I mean, he just broke up with it. I mean, I don't know if I should get into all that, but yeah, we were having some fun for sure.
That's cool. You see it as a good thing. A lot of people would see, I had to move into,
Right.
this place because of the situation I was in, or
Right.
But it was cool that you see it as a positive, I guess.
Yeah. It was definitely good times. And God, I had 3 girls working there at the time, and I mean, they were pretty girls, and so I'd be like hungover, sleeping in the back, and then they would have a question and come knock on the door like, hey, blah, blah. And yeah, that part was rough.
I'm sure.
But it all worked out though. And, I look back and those are the days for sure. And I don't know, we're constantly living in the good old days, because 2 years from now, we'll say these are the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's how it works.
I think a lot of people don't realize that entrepreneurs, sometimes you got to make sacrifices and do stuff like that. Like, everybody thinks it's all gravy, and like sometimes you just gotta. I mean, your business and your house is all the same, and you just had to make it work.
Oh yeah,
great. Some of it's probably a little bit of the partying and stuff like that, puts you in that position. But some people have to do that. Like, that's just what they do. Like, that's the way they make it happen.
Right, 100%. So yeah, that's where I mean, so I was living in the back, and I was just so lost and just such an alcoholic. Like, I would open up the shop and I wouldn't have change in the register. Like, I mean, it was just horrible. I look back on some of these times and I'm like, how are we even still in business? Because I'd make a sale. So whatever, if it was cash, I would make a sale. Normally wouldn't have change for the customer, and then I'd close up, take that money, go to the liquor store, come back, open up the shop, and just be drinking with the shop open. And yeah, I mean that was rough, and I just look back and regret so many of those times. Like, sure, it was fun in the moment, but it's like, God, how much further could we be today if I would have just got serious right away. But that's really when everything started turning around, because the shop, like I said, was a dream come true. Finally had it going. And one day I was just looking at it, I was living in the back looking at it, and it's like, man, I'm letting this slip by faster than it came, like I finally did this and here it goes. And, part of it was that original building, the wall, like the outside wall was cracking, and we were thinking that the whole wall, they got to get it fixed. But what I was thinking is, man, this wall's going to fall down and then I'm going to be closed, So I was like, this is really how far I got. This is all I could do. And that's really when it all clicked for me. And I'm like, all right, I got to get sober. I got to get this place going, and I got to give it my all. Because I just, that hunger, I was like, I can't look back on this and be like, that's all I could do.
A lot of time it just clicks for people. That's what happened to me. I finally just was sitting there one time, drunk off my ass, and like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Like, I'm sitting by myself, probably gonna piss my pants later. Like, like what the, like this is ridiculous. Like right. I'm not doing anything to further any of my dreams, any of my aspirations. Yeah, so I get it. It just sometimes there's really no answer. It just kind of clicks in your head.
Yep.
And I think a lot more people struggle with alcohol than we think. A lot of people don't even know they have an addiction until it's too late.
Right.
You know, so at least you kind of caught it and kind of move forward.
I know alcohol is it's so promoted too, you know, sports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere, and it's if you can handle it, it's awesome. But a lot of people
it's more dangerous than weed.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
Right.
But
I agree.
Yeah, I believe that
in the consumption of the two. Now, weed obviously can lead to other things, but
I think a lot of that has to do with personality too. Like, sometimes you can get a functioning alcoholic or whatever, and you don't really know they're drunk or whatever. But if you get a true stoner, you know, there's, you know what I mean?
Big
like,
difference, yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, and like it's like, man.
And I don't mean to the full extent.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And so I can see them both being really bad. But then the alcohol's got so many different types of addictions. Like there's your normal guy that's got to drink all the time, constantly. Then there's your binge drinkers that have to binge drink and can't stop. Once they start, they can't stop. They only do it once a week or twice a week or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. But when they do it, they black out retardedly and they just never stop. And so I don't really see that in weed. Weed's usually, if you have a weed addiction, it's a one style of addiction, in my opinion. But I don't really know from what I see.
Addiction side of it, yeah.
Whereas alcohol's got multiple different ways that it can be an addiction. And
I was more talking like recreational use.
Yeah.
Like doing it the quote unquote right way.
Yeah.
I just feel like alcohol can be more dangerous than weed when it comes to that.
Well, yeah, it's a little more socially, mostly because it's more socially acceptable.
Right.
And yeah.
Right.
There's not weed bars. You'll go just sit in a bar and smoke. I mean, you do in Denver. But.
Here anyways.
Not here yet.
So we kind of already talked about the skate shop opening in 2019. Can you walk us through getting that open? What you had to go through? Any hoops you had to jump through? Any struggles that happened?
God, yeah. So that was a challenge. So I was living at that trailer at the time, and you know, I was starting to realize like, hey, my life's going downhill, and you know, I continued drinking for a while, but I started, you know, just looking around. I was like, man, I really want to open a skate shop. So I started looking for buildings to rent, and even though, you know, at that time it was kind of just a pipe dream, but it's like I got to find something. And then so my mom and her boyfriend Mike, they ended up getting a shop right on 3rd Street because he does mechanic work. And then they called me one day. They're like, hey, like, are you still looking for a shop? I was like, yeah. And there's a building like right next door. I mean, it's the same building, but a different like bay or whatever you want to call it. But so yeah, I go over there and we check it out. I was like, man, this is perfect. And so yeah, I ended up signing the lease and getting that going, which I'm super grateful that they called me, because I feel like that kind of gave me the pressure to like, okay, well, this is open, this is perfect. The rent was $400 a month.
That's pretty good for downtown.
Right.
Holy cow.
Like, granted,
that's a steal, actually.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was, you know, like that wall was falling and it was a tiny little space, but still $400 a month, you can't beat it. But so yeah, I ended up getting the building, which was way too early. Like if I could go back, I would have planned it so much better. You know, I would have got everything in order before I just got the building. And
so you hadn't started anything before the building was done.
You didn't have boards, no nothing. You didn't have any product. You got a space.
Yeah, just
I guess we're figuring it out now, boys. Let's go.
So yeah, it took 9 months. I mean, I did little side jobs. I worked a regular job too, laying bricks and like whatever, doing all that, and that paid very little. So it took 9 months, and you know, every check I just put like $50 in, $50 in, $50 in, And eventually, after 9 months, I felt that I had enough inventory to open, even though looking back, it was like, yeah, that probably wasn't enough inventory. But yeah, I got it open after 9 months, and which that was the silly part was, paying rent, paying electric, paying
With
water.
nothing coming in.
Yeah, for 9 months without even a start on it. But it all
Hey,
worked
but at least
out.
you started.
Right.
That's always the biggest step. I get you put some money into something that maybe was a little frivolous at the time, but you started.
Right. Yeah, that's why I always say the start stops most.
No. That's what happened with the podcast, just getting the equipment here.
Yeah.
Right.
Talked about it many times.
Yep.
We talked for 20 or 15 years about doing it, and finally Zach didn't even tell me he got it. It was here, and he goes, "Hey, it's here." Didn't know he was buying it.
Oh.
So now we got to do it. Vance, when are you going to come do the first one? I guess we're going to do it this day.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
He
Get
took
it and
initiative.
figure it out last year. Yeah.
He took that first step.
Yeah. So what month of 2019 did you open that shop?
It was April.
So April, and that's when you opened, or that was the 9 months of paying. So like, when did you sign the lease?
It was 9 months before April.
Before April. Okay.
Yeah.
So from April to the end of the year in 2019, how well were sales going? Was it a struggle?
It was pretty bad. So the first year in business, I made $3,500, and breaking that down, it was, really broken down even further. It was $9 a day, gross. But break it down even further, really, I was losing about $19 a day,
Right,
every single day with like the rent and everything. But yeah, so $3,500 was that first year, and then the second year did $7,400, and then the third year did $49,000, and then the fourth year did $74,000, and then the fifth year, just this last year, I hit $150,000, and I don't mind talking, or $155,000, but I don't mind talking about that because it's all gross, and
Yeah.
it all goes back into the business.
So
well, and you're talking about growth.
Right.
yeah. That third year was your first sober year?
Yep.
The third year when that huge jump when you went from 75 to 50, basically, that was when you became sober?
Yeah, I think maybe the year after. I don't know, I get it all mixed up, but yeah, when I got sober though, that's when everything changed.
Yep.
Everything. And I was living in the back of the shop. I got old pictures of me sitting there just suffering it out for it was 2 weeks, just trying to cleanse through it all. And I was just so red in the face, and I would have cold sweats and be shaking, and just sleeping in that little room in the back there, just going through it. But what really helped out though is, I tried doing the whole skate shop, just solely working the skate shop, making it work. But after getting sober, it's okay, I gotta get an actual job and pump some money into this. So I ended up working at AWG, or the old affiliated.
Yep.
I worked there for 2.5 years and just pumped every dollar. There was weeks where I'd put my whole check into the shop, and I've documented my whole journey. So I got old pictures and videos of me with a handful of change. This is all I'm leaving myself with for the week. And I just really just put everything into it.
That's a true entrepreneur spirit right there.
Right.
That's crazy. So when you're at the mall now, right?
Yeah.
So when did that transition happen from 3rd Street to?
Just about 2.5 years ago, I think it would have been.
Was that a big change for you?
Yeah, definitely. The store on 3rd Street, it was such a hole in the wall. You could know that we're there, and you could.
I didn't know about it. I knew when you moved to the mall, but I didn't know you had already been open.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even knowing it's there, you can still miss it because it's just such a small little spot. But but yeah, definitely. That was a huge change, especially just the foot traffic alone. It's it went from having 1 or 2 customers a day.
That knew they were coming, they knew they were coming there specifically because they knew where you were.
Yeah.
Now you get some people that maybe not know you're there that just come in.
Yep. So yeah, that was the biggest change, is just the amount of foot traffic, and just the growth in general. It's been awesome, and the original shop was, the whole dream was solely skateboards, skate apparel, and that's it. But moving to the mall, it's like, okay, like we can't hit this market with just skateboards. We gotta bring some new inventory in here. So then we really started branching into like clothing and.
You do like the retro shoes and stuff too?
Yep. Now we just got into that last year. So yeah, I mean, the shoes do so good. The shoes are really. I'm so happy that we got that going. And
You're one of the few places in town that actually sell. I'm gonna do quotes here, quote unquote, different shoes.
Right.
Like the Athlete used to have a good selection, but I don't even remember when they closed. Do you remember the Athlete in the mall?
I remember, but yeah, I don't remember when they closed.
That was always a good store. But it's cool you're doing the shoes. I like that.
Right, yeah.
I got to remember that. I'll come out there and get some shoes.
Heck yeah. Yeah, the shoes definitely took off. I wish we would have started it earlier, though, because, yeah, that could have saved us a couple years of some AWG money.
Yeah. So you're not at AWG anymore?
No.
You just do your business full time, basically.
Yep.
How did, so you opened in April 2019. How did COVID affect you? So a year later. Well, 11 months later.
God, it was definitely rough. We were so small though, so it's not like not a lot changed,
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of stuff to begin with, but I mean, it was tough though when we did try to, and I say we, cause I mean, I speak as the community, like we have so many people that have helped out through this journey, and it's, the guy that I got working right now, it's just, we are building this. It's not just me. It's not just I. This is a team that's building this. But at that time, though, we couldn't get anything through our distributors. I mean, they were all sold out. And I remember going down to Zoomies. Zoomies is like a pretty big skate shop. And they're a franchise. They're all over the place. And I went and checked one of those out during that time, and yeah, they were out of everything too. So that was the most.
That was
difficult.
a common occurrence.
Yeah.
Through not everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you see it as a negative then?
Yeah, I mean, it sucked at the time. It was like, man, like we have the money to put in these orders, but we can't get anything. So it definitely sucked at the time, but it was like everybody's dealing with it. So
Did you take that time to maybe prepare for when things were opening back up and you could get stuff available?
yeah, definitely stacked up a little bit, and then I would always order, what I could, but yeah, definitely just prepared, fixed up the shop more. Yeah, just I don't know, did what I could. I think everybody just kind of did what they could.
We kind of asked that question to all the entrepreneurs because we've had some people say it was a negative impact. We've had some people say it was a positive impact. So I just wanted to see how it affected you.
Yeah.
In the business.
Did you see COVID increase the interest in skating, like as an outdoor activity, a different type of activity that didn't require a bunch of social gathering and stuff? Did it seem like it increased that? Because I know like the golf industry seemed to get a really big bump from COVID times because people needed to get out and do something.
Right.
So I didn't know if you noticed that in the skating community or not.
Yeah, 100%. I would say it increased a lot.
It brought new people to it.
Yep, 100%.
Is there a pretty big skating community in this area?
It's not huge, but with the skate park, we just got that really nice skate park put in. That brings guys from all over the place.
I haven't been over there yet.
Oh, it's so nice.
The new one?
Yeah.
Is it in the same spot as the old one, or is it
Yep, same spot.
just expanded? I guess
Yeah, so because it used to be all those wood ramps, and
Right.
after time the screws are sticking out. It got kind of beat down.
Okay.
But so they tore all that out, but it's all nice concrete. I mean, there's a bowl, there's all sorts of stuff there. They just added a pump track, so pretty much a big circle that has little humps that you can go over and just pump around. And I mean, it's super nice. And there's guys from Lincoln and Omaha and all the surrounding areas. They come down pretty frequently just because it's, really the best skate park in Nebraska.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'll have to come check it out for sure.
I think the only competitor I would say is like the Bay and Lincoln. They're an indoor park though. So, with them being an indoor park, that's a huge advantage. But
Right.
for outdoor park, it's 100% the best skate park.
What's the the seasons you can in Nebraska be able to skate comfortably?
Well, if there's no snow on the ground, probably 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean,
Like,
that's,
I mean,
Like-
do your diehards, do you go out there all year long?
oh yeah, 100%. Even when there's snow, I mean, I've been out there multiple times scooping snow.
Really?
Just scoop it and skate. Yep.
That's kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that would be like it was negative 20 degrees if you're out there skateboarding.
I love golf, but I probably ain't going to negative 20 degree weather.
No way.
I ain't going to move snow to go golfing.
So, moving over to the mall, was that like a big? Obviously, you got more foot traffic. Was that a big transition for you? Was it difficult? What was the like? Did you have to look for space? Who'd you do? Like, was it the same owner that it is now? That you had to
No.
talk to?
Guys, so this is really a crazy story, and I might sound like a kook telling you guys this, but
Nah.
it is what it is. So, God, how the whole mall situation came about is I was at the original shop, and I was just looking around like, man, like, okay, I got my shit together. I got everything on track, but the building, this is a hole in the wall, you know? Nobody's ever going to, like we grew, but it wasn't to the point that I wanted to get to. So my buddy, back to Alex again, his girlfriend, she became the manager over at, I think it's Smokes Are Less. It's right by Dollar Tree here in Norfolk.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, right before they opened, like officially opened, they're getting everything set up. She became the manager. And so me and Alex stopped there the one day as they're like setting everything up. And I seen the building and, seeing everything come together, and it just like, I don't know what it was, but something just clicked, and I just became obsessed. And I was like, man, this is what I want. I want a nice building like this. And, I don't know how you guys feel about manifesting. It sounds like hocus pocus, but I mean, it is so real. And
It is.
I mean, sounds crazy, but it is. I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
It's not crazy.
Every,
That's how most things happen.
right.
You have to manifest it in your head before
You
you
have
go
to
do it.
visualize it.
That's every successful person that's ever done anything great. I mean, they're firm believers, and so I don't know what really clicked, but just seeing that place, working at AWG for 2 weeks straight, I could not get it out of my head. I mean, every single hour, every day, just tossing boxes, and even when I was home too. I mean, we would work long hours there, and just it would not get out of my head of the exact building that I want. So I wanted, a building with hardwood floors, changing rooms, and like a nice bathroom, because the bathroom at the original shop, it was like a closet,
Right.
and just little things. And I kept thinking about it. And then that was about the time when the mall went up for auction. So what had happened, what I got out of it was there's these 4 guys, they're a little bit younger guys. What they do is they buy malls, and then they fill them up, get some people renting, and then they sell them to make a profit. That's
Right.
all they do is flip malls. So I had like 10 people get a hold of me like, hey, you should check that out, because these guys kept advertising like cheap rent, cheap rent, cheap rent.
I remember that.
Yeah,
It was like super cheap.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're even saying like free rent, like they're just trying to get people in there and then sell it, and so I kept brushing it off. I was like, no, they're gonna get you in there and then just jack up the rent, and
Well, that's technically the model.
Yeah.
Once somebody buys it, yeah.
so yeah, that's I just kept brushing it off. But I was thinking about a new building, and the biggest thing for me though is because I knew how much money I was making. I knew, what the skate industry was providing for like financial, So I was like, I gotta find something for $400 or less. Like and that it sounds crazy, but yeah. So finally, one of my other buddies, after like 10 people, one of my other buddies said, hey, check this out, talking about the mall. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll call him. So I call him. One of the days that I had off, I went and checked the whole place out. We looked at like all the bays, and they're either way too big of locations, or like the one was just, I don't know, a little bit small, but none of them were like what I was looking for. So I wasn't going to do it, but there was one last bay. It had a big old black sheet over the entrance, and the lady that was showing me around, she couldn't find the key for it. So I ended up having to come back the next day. So I was on lunch. over at AWG, and so I came over, checked out the last bay, and as soon as we get in there and we move that little sheet, it was literally exactly what I had been thinking of. It had the nice hardwood floors. It had down to the T, and I've never seen. I mean, maybe as a little kid I seen that place, but it was literally the exact thing that I was looking for. So I was like, all right, this could be it, And so then I get a hold of the owners, and they ended up setting, and we're, talking about rent. They ended up setting the rent, and what they set the rent at was $400.
That's awesome.
I was like, how in the hell did that work? But yeah, then obviously, new owners come in and everything is jacked up. But yeah, it all worked out though, and it's just like, man, that it blew my mind. I thought about it constant. I could not get it out of my head, and then to find that exact building for that price was this.
You don't sound like a kook at all. That's like a true entrepreneur spirit. You think like I never stop thinking about things for the podcast, for my business. Like my mind never shuts off.
Right.
Yeah. So I get it, man. Just like when we saw the new house, I'm like, people would go into that new house and be like, oh, the basement's not finished. I don't want to buy it. And I'm like, nope, this is exactly what I want, because I can put a podcast studio here. I can put this here. Like,
right.
It's crazy how things work out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so real. I mean, 100% it's real.
It is. So what'd they jack the rent up to, if you don't mind me asking?
It's currently $2,800.
That's what
Yeah.
That sounds more like the mall rent.
Yeah. I mean,
what's the square footage of the spot you got?
So the spot that I'm in right now is 3,700 square foot.
So triple what you had before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like we got a good deal still. Like
you did. I'm not saying it's bad. I just from 400 to 2,800 is a pretty big leap.
Right. But you were able to get going. Like you were talking about how good you've grown every single year.
Right.
So you're able to eat that because you're never. I mean, stuff doesn't stay constant. We all know that.
Right.
So as long as you continue succeeding,
right,
you just make it work.
Yep, 100%.
So tell us a little bit about like what you offer at the skate shop. We talked about shoes. We talked about obviously you do decks, right?
Yep.
And parts. I'm assuming.
Yep.
Apparel.
Yep.
What is there certain brands? Is it?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, we just got a new distributor, so I mean, there's like 1,100 brands that we can get on there. So I mean, there's just a huge variety of brands.
Do you stick to most of the popular ones for the store then?
Yeah, and then there are like a few. I don't know if you'd call them underground brands or what, but they're just like popular thing. Whoever's printing them, just printing like super popular things on the tees. Those do really good for us, and then a few jean brands that do pretty good. But yeah, the sneakers do really well, and then all the skate apparel. The longboards are really, really what do good for like the skating stuff. They're not the skateboards; they're the longer boards that you cruise on.
Yeah.
So with the college here, I mean, there's constantly new kids coming in, and they don't want to walk through campus. They'd rather use their longboard. So the longboards do really good.
I never would have thought that wouldn't be what I would have thought.
Right.
Definitely not when I was going to Northeast.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that thing.
Right.
Have you thought about ever getting into like the hoverboard stuff?
Yeah, I would love to. I still can't find a
like a distributor for it.
Yeah, but I mean those are so popular right now as well.
Well, they are. They got that. One of the chefs at 411 cruises downtown on a. It's a longboard, but it's like a electric. It's not a hoverboard, but it's an electric longboard. Basically.
Yep. Gavin. Yep.
Is that who it is? Yeah.
Yep.
He'll like lay down on it and cruise down the sidewalk to work. Yeah, it's kind of funny to watch him.
Yeah.
Do you have like apparel distributors like from the state of Nebraska that you also sell and do that type of stuff, or is there a community that you guys kind of do that and share around?
We do work with they're called Lost Tippy. They're right here out of Norfolk.
Oh, okay.
So we work with those guys, and then we also work with the artist that's from Norfolk, like MC Ringo. But yeah, those are the only two guys that we've really worked with for like local or Nebraska.
What was the first one?
Lost Tippy.
Never heard of that one.
God, they've been going for quite a while. Dave, I don't know his last name, but they're really good people, and they've been doing it for like 10 years.
Nice.
But yeah, they go to concerts all over, and they're constantly getting their merch on like the artist, like
Right.
meeting them and then giving them a bunch of merch. It's pretty cool.
You were probably talking about like apparel distributors though.
Yeah, different style. Well,
So,
no,
like-
like that do their own design. So like I got a buddy that I played basketball with all the time when I lived in Grand Island. I met him in Grand Island. He's got I think it's like Supa Drip or something. Like it's SUPADRP, and he just sells apparel out of Grand Island.
Okay.
And so I didn't know. It's kind of that skate style.
Right.
It's not really my style, but I mean, so I didn't know if I'd imagine there's other ones in the state of Nebraska too. And if you're not designing your own apparel, I didn't know if you worked with some people like that and just use their stuff too.
Yeah, no, not yet. I mean, I would like to, definitely.
I didn't know if you've looked into people reached out to people like that, which I know you got this Lost Hippie, right?
Right, yeah.
Which is convenient because you're right here in town. So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they're really good. You know, I like to work with good people, and I did have an opportunity to work with a guy, but I don't know. I got a little sour taste in my mouth with him, so it's like just decided not to. But
On a different apparel guy.
yeah, different guy. Yep.
Okay,
That's
kinda-
tough, and yeah, you got to make your own decision. You always got to do what's better for you. I mean,
Right.
That's kind of the entrepreneurial thing. Like you want to help people out, but you also gotta look out for yourself.
I'm that way too though. If I get a bad taste in my mouth, I ain't working with that
Yeah, it
person.
ain't gonna work
Right.
anymore.
It's usually first impression for me.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah,
Right.
You've seen that quite a bit.
yeah.
Yep.
What was like third impression for one person I'm thinking of, or fourth? It was my first, and I felt that way. It's my first impression. Of the
Well,
guy,
either
but
way,
you gave him a chance.
I gave him a chance. Anyway, moving on.
We won't name names.
No, we're not going to talk about that one. So the skate shop's doing well, obviously. You do a skate class still?
Yep. So, God, I started the skate class at the original shop.
Oh, at the original one.
Yep. So in the very back, I ended up building like a little tiny mini ramp, and the original
Past your bedroom?
before. You know, I know it was rough, but that first mini ramp that we started skate school on, it was 4 feet wide and like 2 foot tall. So it was just like a tiny little ramp, and
Perfect for beginners though, right?
yeah. I mean, it was fun. At least get them dropping in, you know. But yeah, that's where we started. Then ended up once I moved out of the skate shop, then I built a bigger ramp. But yeah, started it there. Gosh, got it up to like 14 kids, I think.
That's pretty good, actually.
And I mean, God, it was just me trying to manage all these kids. You know, it was a blast, but it was definitely controlled chaos.
Were you charging for that class?
Yeah. It was
that's good.
$10 a session, and then we do once a week.
Nice.
But so yeah, built it, started it there, then moved to the mall, ended up, you know, continuing it there, got it up to 32 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, I ended up hiring a guy full time, and you know, he became the manager, managed like a bunch of stuff, and I was still working at AWG, dumping money in, and so it was just me and him running 32 kids, but we ended up getting one other guy to help out, but that was a blast as well. But now though we work, the city of Norfolk ended up reaching out, and so now we partnered up. So they take care of all the back end stuff, you know, getting the parents registered, getting everything in order. And then it'd be me, Frank Planner, and Nate Murray. We all just show up and teach the kids how to skate.
That's really cool, actually. Because
You do it all out of your shop, or do you go to like the skate park and do it?
So now with the city, we do it at the skate park. And that's a lot better, you know.
oh yeah,
I mean,
You
God.
have multiple different options to teach them and stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely can pick up a lot more. And you know, when first moving to the mall, it was, I mean, 30 kids in there with skateboards. It just wasn't. I mean, and God, we still had the gate open for customers. Like,
Right.
we should have done it a little different, but
that's right. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we made it work.
Is there any? So what's the age range?
Any and all ages.
That's
That's really cool too. So even like I could come and you can teach me how to skate.
Yeah, 100%.
Not gonna happen, but
How many
I
people
won't
do
get
you
back on
have
the board.
how many older people do you have try to learn to skate?
God, we haven't had not really any yet. I mean, like I'll get guys that come into the shop that'll grab a board and then go out and cruise, but for skate school there hasn't been anyone
I'd be
up there.
afraid of breaking something, and I just
One time I got on one, I fell, and I haven't got back on one. Same thing with a motorcycle.
Oh God.
And I learned my lesson once, and I'm done. I think. Do you foresee you guys being able to? I mean, obviously, teaching some kids up to a point where they can get good enough to go do some events.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you had any yet?
God, there was a contest here in Norfolk last year, I think it was, and yeah, so like all the kids did that, you know. But for skate school, really the goal is just to get them rolling, get them comfortable, and then you know, skateboarding's such a beautiful sport, you know. It's all about creativity. So it's like once they get to a certain level, then like personally, I'll try to, you know, urge them to just, you know, do it on your own, you know, figure out your style and how you like it. But yeah, I mean, the goal though is with that park here, it's like, man, we're definitely gonna have some good skaters coming out of Norfolk.
Have you thought about doing some of your own apparel to be able to maybe get in early and sponsor those kids before they get big? Or
Yeah, definitely. God used to sponsor people here in town. I think we had like a team of 8 kids and ended up cutting it off just because, I mean, the community, there's not a ton of skaters. We might have 50 skaters all together. So it's like if we're only sponsoring 8 of them, you know, it's like the other ones feel like they're left out. So it's just, the community's not that big to, you know, people started feeling like we were picking favorites. So ended up just cutting it out.
if you held a contest and sponsored like the first top 2 people?
Right. That's definitely a good idea. And that's definitely something that we're looking into in the future.
Because then you won't have that backlash of, oh, you know, you're only sponsoring these 2. Well, they're the 2 best that came out of this contest.
Right.
So
yeah, that's definitely a good way to go about that. But it's been like 3 or 4 years since we had that going. So yeah, definitely need to get it back into play.
who put on that contest last year?
It was Good Life Action Sports. It would be like Anthony Thompson.
Is that here in town?
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that one. Have you?
Good Life Action Sports. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but I've heard the name.
What all is that involved
Probably
with?
from that
Not
contest.
Right.
What does all that involve? Like, what is it?
If
If you have like just an overarch, I don't know much about it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know enough
That's okay.
about it
Okay.
either. Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask.
The guy that runs it kind of came after me quite a bit, and yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay.
it's whatever. I
Sorry,
don't
I
want
didn't
to
know.
slander him at all.
You're good.
But yeah, there's a little bit of friction there, I guess you could say.
That happens.
Have they
Oh.
done? Do many contests get done out there at the skate park?
That was the first one last year, the one that he put on.
So, how does that work with the city? Do they allow anybody to go do that? Like, if you wanted to go have a contest, would you be able to go to the city and say, "Hey, I think we want to sponsor a contest. We want to do a contest. We'd like to get the parks involved or the city involved or something like that." Have you ever talked to anybody about doing stuff like that?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and I think anybody can do it. You know, you just got to get everything in place, but you can definitely get out there and do it.
Yeah, anybody can do events like that. You just have to get approval from the city council.
Yeah.
And then you got to provide your own event insurance, and because the city won't take responsibility for any of that. So
I mean, it's their park. They already have the
they won't. Yeah, but
responsibility
you're
for the park.
the one running the. Yeah.
I mean, that should be part of the park.
Technically, I don't think there's probably signs up that says they don't take responsibility.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah, that's what all the like Skyview, Johnson's Park, any of the parks, city parks, are that way.
Yeah.
I don't think they have liability over much of what they are city stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right.
Just putting it out there. Is there anything else you want to talk about on the skate shop? Is there anything you want to get out to the people on the skate shop part?
God, no, I think we really covered most of it. But yeah, I think that's really it. And I mean, right now we're just focusing on, you know, social media and the website. And
How's that going for you? It's the social media aspect. Do you sell a lot? Do you sell online?
So for some reason the website got, I don't know what happened with it. I'm horrible with like all the website stuff, but yeah, some reason an error kept popping up, so the website got shut down. But yeah, we're getting it back up going right now, and yeah, I mean TikTok is. I know it sounds crazy, but
It's not
TikTok,
crazy. We keep getting told that.
Yeah, TikTok is insane, especially now they have their got just like the TikTok shop.
Yep.
And I mean that's an open market right now.
Yep.
If you can find something to get on there, I don't know. I keep telling people it's like finding Bitcoin before it blew up. TikTok.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
So you don't make your own apparel right now,
Not right. I mean, we've done a few like T-shirts in the past.
but you don't have your own screen printer.
No, like I still got some of the equipment laying around, but it's nothing major. Just like the little cheap ones from
Gotcha.
way back. But yeah, that's definitely in this year's goals is to get a bunch of our brands out. You know,
That's
start
good.
branding us, and you know, it's on the table right now that we might change the name of the store, and then make Wisper just the actual brand, and then carry it in the store just to kind of separate it. Because I mean, from the beginning, that was
I like
always
that idea.
yeah. I mean, that was always the mission. Was you know, Wisper wasn't meant to be a little skate shop. It was, you know, we dreamed of it becoming a huge brand.
Like skaters wearing it.
Yeah. So
I see your vision. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know that it's kind of hard to just rip that Band-Aid off because we don't want to take that on the sign and, you know, change everything up. But who knows? Either way, though, we're gonna get some Wisper gear out there and get some boards made and get everything going.
You currently don't make your own boards. You just you resell different designs, or you
Yeah.
have your own designs.
We just resell like brands.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's really cool that you got that in the head, though, to do that. I think that's important. And it's easier nowadays than it used to be
Right.
to just go throw some T-shirts and designs out there.
Right. I know, especially with social media. I mean, it's just insane.
Well, I was looking at, because we had some shirts made for the podcast, and I went and looked at what a screen printer would cost and almost bought one, because I'm like,
Really?
well, if we buy enough shirts,
Yeah.
it would just, in selling, it'd be more feasible just to buy a screen printer.
There's companies out there that just they'll do a T-shirt shop for you. It's a one-click deal.
Yeah.
And you literally don't have any input costs. It's on a website, whatever. You could just get. Obviously, you don't get all the profit, but you split the profit with whoever the company is. But
Yeah.
Right.
you get your little bit of it, and I mean, there's anything you want to do now. It's out there.
You can do it.
It's
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about boards. That's a whole nother world for me. So
Right.
I don't know if there's just a bunch of businesses out there that just make whatever design you want.
Those are kind of
Right.
just stickers, though, yeah? Or are they like actually like put onto the board? I forget how all that goes down.
God,
Not stickers, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's like
Decal.
Decal.
yeah. I don't know exactly how it works either. I tried to get it all figured out early on, but yeah, it's a whole process. But we do got a guy here in town. It'd be one of the guys that helps out with skate school, Frank Planner. He's actually making boards right now, like pressing them, and yeah, he's doing. I don't know. He needs to get it going a little bit better, like a little bit more. But the boards that he has made they're really good boards. I rode one of them for like a year and a half, and I mean it held up. I still have it. It's fully intact, and it held up really good. So if he can get that really pushing and get it down to a T, then I mean I would hope that I could just order boards through him and then get a logo on it.
Is he like a competitor yet? You work with him? Like, since you're a smaller community, like, I mean, your competitors are your competitors, but you're rooting for each other to succeed, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. And God, I think he hasn't sold any yet. So I mean, he's like just starting, getting it going.
Just learning.
Yeah, and
So he may want to sell them out of your store.
yeah, 100%. That's the plan. Is like he'll sell them on his own, and then also I'll order a bunch of them off of him with his logo and everything, you know. But yeah, he's so busy though. I mean, he has a bunch of kids, you know, and he's super busy. But he's gonna get it though. I know he is.
It's awesome.
That is cool. It's at least two of my friends skate. I'm trying to think, or did at one time. One still does. One doesn't probably fit on a board anymore, but probably could get on there.
Right.
But it definitely wasn't as big, you know, back when I was in high school, trying to think of when the skate shop or the skate park was built, because it was built before I graduated. The initial one.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of when that was. Because that was a big deal. I think it got shot down a bunch before they actually built it.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could be so off, but I want to say it was like 2009. Was it?
So it was after I graduated.
It was before that because it was there when I was in high school.
So I graduated 06,
and
I'm pretty sure it
09.
was there when we would, because that's where we'd get dropped off for football. We'd go get dropped off right over by that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
At
it was
the skate
there.
park?
Yeah, and then we'd walk in the fences. I can't remember because
Yeah.
there was something else. There was tennis courts over there first.
Yeah.
Because I used to play roller hockey. They had a roller hockey league over
Really?
there. Yeah,
That'd have been fun.
it was
I'd have
fun.
done that.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun actually. Yeah, they tore that down to put the. I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know. I had something I had to look up, but it wasn't huge, and it took a while for them to get that even up and going. So it's
Right.
cool to see that they have reinvested into it, and that the community's kind of grown in Norfolk for that.
Right. Yeah. God, that was a big, like in the beginning I'm sure everybody goes through this, but when you're about to, take that jump and start your own thing, you constantly question it. You're like, is this the right time? Is this the right time? And that was one of the big factors was like, I remember this one day specifically, I was like, man, I can't, I gotta get rid of this building. Like I can't keep paying rent and not, putting $50 in. What am I even doing? But that exact day, I was really deciding like, all right, this is it. Like I'll get a building eventually, but I'm not ready. And then I pull up to the gas station, probably to grab some beer, and pull up to the gas station, see the little shoppers thing out front with the newspaper in it. And yeah, it had a big old picture of the skate park, like coming soon or whatever it said. And yeah, it was like, I don't know.
So you had a lot of manifest destiny moments, didn't you?
I guess. I seen that and I was like, all right, well, let's just continue this.
That's really cool. Do you mind if we take a quick pause real fast?
Yeah.
All right, we're back. Had to, me, I got to take a pee break every hour. So getting back into, you started the Raid Room. So what year did that kind of come about?
God, the beginning of last year, 2023.
2023?
Yep.
And I read in your article that was, you were trying to look for something to use in the space that you had.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yep. So, God, when I first moved to the mall, got into that building, with the hardwood floors, everything. And then the new owners are like, hey, we got this big company moving in. It turned out to be, was it Planet Fitness ended up getting moved in. So they came to me. They're like, hey, we got to move you to a different bay because they wanted to rip that wall down and then make it one big bay for Planet Fitness. So we ended up working out a deal, and that was a battle and a half. I mean, it was like a month and a half of going back and forth with them, and yeah,
Because you probably didn't want to move.
yeah, and I mean, I was willing to move, but they were trying to throw some extra things in the mix.
Gotcha.
And,
This was with the new owners.
yeah.
After the new owners came in, I'm assuming after your initial deal was done.
Yep. So yeah, they it was a battle, a couple sleepless nights, thinking like, all right, well, I'm done here. So, but it all worked out though. We butted heads a little bit and then came to an agreement. But yeah, so I ended up moving bays from the old one to the one that I'm in now. And this one, that old one was like 2,400 square foot. So I don't know. I guess it just felt a little more manageable to fill up. And with this new one, it's just so much space. And, I still struggle at points, like, especially like this month and next month are the worst months in retail. So it's like, we still got ups and downs and, struggle points. But, so when we first moved there, it's like, God, like, we got to fill this up somehow. And my girlfriend, she's like, why don't you do a Rage Room? And there's this perfect little spot in the back there. And it's like, man, we could do that, just build a wall here and, get it all boarded up. And so that's what we ended up doing. I posted on Facebook and, like doing social media, like especially TikTok, I've got millions of views and all, gotten a lot of traction on other platforms, but never on Facebook have I got traction. So I posted the Rage Room. on what we're going to do. And I put a picture up of like what a rage room is, just because I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know what they were. So I posted that. It ended up getting like 120,000 interactions.
Jeez, I wish we could get that on the podcast.
That'd be badass.
I know. I was mind blown, because like other platforms, that's like worldwide, but the Facebook group, that's all here in surrounding areas, So people went nuts for it. And so at that time, though, it was still just an empty spot in the store. There wasn't anything there. So I kept having people come in like, hey, you guys are doing a rage room? And I'd be like, yeah, it's going right here, pointing at this empty spot. And I got...
Just not there yet. Just visualize it. It's there, man.
I got so many sideways looks. And so I was struggling financially, like pretty bad, just get moved there. And it took a while to get everything set up. But it was just a battle. That whole period was definitely a battle. But so yeah, I ended up coming up with the idea. I was like, okay, I gotta get this room built. People are coming in, they're asking about it, people are excited. So what I did is I put together a whole little rundown of what we want to do and how much, that post blowing up was a huge bonus. So I put that in there on like how much traction it got. And I put that all in this little like pamphlet thing, and I just started cold calling like tons of businesses around town and pitching them this idea, saying like, hey, like this is what we want to do, and this is how much traction it got. We also, push social media. So what I was doing was selling them an advertisement spot inside of the rage room. And, I explained to them, when people do this, they're going to want to film, they're going to want to post, they're going to want to show their friends. So every person that we have come in, if, filming and posting, it's like most people, that's...
Your name could be in there. Your advertisement could be in their film.
Yep. So yeah, I called like 100 businesses, and gosh, we got 12 businesses to do it all together.
That's pretty good percentage on cold calling, really.
That is good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was, those guys helped out so much. And there was like a $250 pack, a $500 pack, and it came, you get your banner there for the whole year, and then you can choose to renew it or, take it down, whatever. So, $250 pack, $500 pack, $750, and then this crazy guy on the internet told me, he said, always have a stupid expensive price, because somebody is always willing to pay that. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to take this guy's advice, just some random entrepreneur on the internet. And so I put it on there, an $1,100 pack. And so the difference between the packs was just the size of the banner and then the placement of the banner. So like this wall, you can't really see from the window. This wall, you can't. This one, you'll see from the hallway. So that $1,100 pack, ended up getting one person, smoking deals here in town. Regina, she's like such a good person and just so helpful in so many ways. And she ended up getting that pack. So we got her the biggest banner and put it right in front of the window there. So, you can see it from the hallway. And yeah, they helped out a ton with all that. And gosh, I should have mentioned too, the night before I started cold calling and like actually put everything together, I was struggling financially, trying to get everything set up, trying to get enough inventory to like fill that place up. And I was working there from, gosh, I don't even know what time it was. It was like 3 a.m. or something, and I would do that quite often, just work till like 3 or 4 a.m, sleep 6 hours, then come back and whatever. But so that night I went to the gas station after I got off and tried to get some gas to get home, because I was living like 20 minutes away. And I tried to use my credit card and it got declined. I was like, gosh, dang it. So I ended up staying at the shop that night in the back, like the old days. And so I stayed there and I was like, I got to figure this out. So that's initially what was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to cold call. We're going to get some businesses in here. We're going to use that money to build the rage room and get it figured out. And yeah, finally got it going.
So it seems, just listening to your story and just the way like you went through addictions and you were filling your life with certain things. It seems like you just changed it. You've traded one addiction to another, and there's like good things you can fill your time with and stuff like that. And seems like you've just found, I'm just going to throw myself into work. So there's outlets for other people. It seems like if you find yourself in that position, you can always find something else to change your addiction. It seems like, and it seems like you've done that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've said that in the past too a lot. It's like I went from drinking every day to, it took all my money, it took all my time, time away from family, everything. And maybe it's not a great thing swapping to work, but there for the first like 2 years of being sober, I was just pushing. And I mean, everybody says I work 26 or whatever, 32 hours a day, and like everybody says it, but I was really pushing at minimum 16 hours, and, I kept track of all of it. And a lot of the time though, it'd be 18 hours and sometimes even 20 hours, but yeah, I just work constantly. And my whole mindset was like, all right, I'm going to give myself 6 hours to be home. That's 6 hours to fall asleep, get up, and get back at it. And I did that for 2 years straight. I took 1 day off on my birthday, and I just was like, I'm going to do nothing today. And so I definitely swapped my addiction from drinking, because all my time, all my money, everything went into work, like the same way that it went into drinking. But the beautiful thing about it, though, is like when, you could look at it in a bad light, you're putting too much into it, but the outcome and the impact that it has had, like the person that I was when I was drinking and the person I am today, they are, I wouldn't even recognize that person. They're two completely separate people. And the positive impact that, I always say, like, you're living the life of you're living in the results of the life that you lived like 3 months ago. What you were doing 3 months ago is the life that you're living now. Like you're getting the results of that. And those 2 years of pushing, I mean, I'm in the results of that. Everything's finally growing, and just the impact too, the positive, God, even from like family members to friends to everybody, it's like, I don't know, just be the example, be the example when it comes to like fitness or whatever. You can talk to somebody a million times and tell them exactly what they need, but until you lead them by example, it's, they're going to be a lot less likely to change.
Yeah.
True.
You put all that input you put in when you're drinking and partying and doing all your other addictions, it's all diminishing returns. Now you have exponential returns for everything you're putting into it. You never know what the outcome is. It could be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So
right. Yeah, exactly.
You're just putting your money into something that's going to get you a short result. Now you're putting all your time and money into something that's going to get you, hopefully, as many gains as you want.
Right.
So.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, while partying is fun, the work you're putting in now is probably a lot more fun because you can see the rewards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's when I was drinking. It was, and doing everything else. It's like I could never see myself without it. Now it's like I could never see myself doing it just because of, I don't know. I've said for a while now. It's like true happiness comes from intentional suffering. Nobody wants to go to the gym. But have you ever seen somebody pissed off leaving the gym? You feel great. Yeah. So it's like
I just got to force myself to get in there someday.
Yeah. Right. Same. But yeah. So just putting in those long days, putting in the hard work, and it all is fulfilling, and that's the feeling of accomplishment is where I find my true happiness.
That's your new high.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing like it. I say that all the time. There's nothing like feeling accomplished, even if it's something small.
Oh yeah,
right.
Endorphins. I mean, just you get it. It is a high. It's another high,
right.
But it's a healthy one. So
right.
I like it.
I know that's like at the end of the day when you go home and turn on the TV or whatever, it's like it feels a lot better kicking your feet up when you gave it your all that day.
Right.
Yep.
when you slacked off, you kind of feel like a piece of shit.
Just wasting my day type of
That's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
I did that last weekend. I'm like, God, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Didn't do a whole lot, and it gets to you by Sunday. You're like, I should have done something.
Right.
I should have done something.
Yeah.
So going back to the rage room, does it stay pretty busy?
Yeah.
Then?
So, God, in the beginning, obviously there's like the big rush. It was just constant. But now it's mainly the weekends. The weekends are normally just back to back to back. But and then we'll have a few throughout the week. But in the beginning, though, it was literally just back to back to back to back. And I like got the website going so people can book it right online. And I didn't realize that you could put a buffering time in between the bookings. So, I mean, there was no buffering time. So, I mean, I would be the only one there, and we'd have person after person after person, and I'd be trying to help the other customers. And
It just keeps getting, everybody gets pushed back a little bit more every single time. Yeah.
Yeah, the one day, God, the worst it ever got, we're an hour and a half behind. The lady showed up to do it, and it's like, man, we got to figure something out here. But yeah, so apparently there's a buffering thing you can put on.
Missed that one.
Well, you probably got to reset the room in between everybody too.
Yeah, we got to clean it and get everything going.
Huh.
So yeah, it was chaos.
Do you have difficulty finding junk TVs, junk stuff to be
God,
destroyed, or did you get everybody wanting to drop shit off to you? Or?
I mean, like now people will drop stuff off, which we haven't pushed it out there much at all, because even just the word of mouth, and like I'm so grateful that I didn't get like a storage unit or something, because that was my initial thought, was like, all right, I need to get a storage unit, let people know they can drop stuff off. But I'm so thankful that I didn't, because even now, just the word of mouth, people have dropped, like there's certain stuff that we can't take, like the old box TVs, just because something in them.
Too much stuff in them.
Yeah, they like implode and shoot the glass out. So those are too dangerous. I don't know. Few other things are too dangerous. But yeah, even with just the word of mouth, it's like we've gotten so much stuff that we just have to dispose of. So I'm grateful that we didn't start like a storage unit or whatever. I'm grateful we didn't do that. But yeah, people do drop some off. But I made how we get like the majority of everything is I made a deal with multiple thrift stores. So what they do is they get so much stuff that they're not going to sell. So, and then they have to pay for disposal. They're paying per pound on disposal. Yeah. So that glass, it just adds up like crazy. I mean, these guys are paying out the roof for disposal. So what they do now is they put everything that they're not going to sell, all the glass or breakable stuff, into totes. And then I just stop there once a week and pick up the totes. I buy the totes off of them for less than it would have been buying off the shelf. But yeah, so that was a big saving. And then all the big items, like the electronics and everything, ended up partnering up with Nerd. It's Nebraska.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
If that was where you were getting that stuff from.
Yep. Nebraska Electronics. Yeah, they've helped out a ton. And I mean, they're saving the day every day, because they just fly through stuff. So yeah, what they do, Nerd, they take the valuable parts out of electronics, and then for like the TVs, they'll put the shell back on, so it looks like a normal TV. Nobody sees the difference. It don't matter that a couple motherboards are out of it, and then put a couple screws in it so the back's on. It looks like a normal TV. We pick it up, people smash it, and then just take the little bit of scrap metal back to them.
The little bit of scrap metal.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Those TVs, they just have like that little thin layer of scrap in them. But
yeah, that's cool. I was. That's who I figured you were probably going through for that stuff, but I didn't know for sure.
Yep.
That's really cool.
But
I take a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, they're really good people. Really good people.
Yep.
But yeah, in the beginning though, it was rough in the beginning. There was no deal with no thrift stores. There was no Nerd deal. There was nothing. So
I can imagine the first time you saw a bunch of people destroying shit, you're like, fuck, we can go through a lot of shit in a day.
Yeah, 100%. And the way that we were getting it was this, finding whatever we could. And I said it multiple times. It's like, if I had $1 for every time I looked like a crackhead, I would not be doing this. Because it would be like 2 a.m. I mean, we have 10, 15 bookings the next day, and we only have 5 items, like big items.
Yeah.
So we'd just be driving, looking at all the dumpsters, and just getting what we could get.
That's funny.
Did you do Iowa Hawkeyes theme?
Yeah.
See, you should have done that for your
God
bet.
damn it. I need to get in there and destroy some Iowa shit. That's got my name written all over it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So what do you charge? Like, is it by time
Yeah. So
or by the amount of stuff they break? Or
a little bit of both. So the first pack that we got is a $10 pack. It's just like a sample pack. We call it the lunch break. So yeah, it's $10, 7 items for 7 minutes. Just like a quick little one. For the picture on that, it was pretty fun putting it all together. But the picture on that one, it's Chris Farley dressed up on Tommy Boy with his whole suit on and his hair all crazy. But then the second pack we got is it's a $25 pack. It comes with 15 items and it's 15 minutes. Then the third one is $35 pack, 20 items, 15 minutes. And then the last one is a $45 pack, comes with 25 items, and that one is a 30-minute pack. And then each of those, you get a bigger electronic item. So like the customers get to pick out their own items, and then we pull out the bigger stuff. So like the biggest pack comes with like the big screen TVs. The 2 smaller packs come with like, I don't know, the ones like printers or, medium sized stuff.
Office Space style.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
Office Space.
Yep.
What type of waivers are involved? You have to have people sign waivers for that, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we just got the same
Enter
waivers.
at your own risk type of thing.
Yeah. We called around and got some from some other rage rooms.
That's cool. Nice that they're willing to work with you.
Right. I know the one that I called initially, they were so rude. I told them about it, and God, the lady, I can't remember what she did, but she was so rude, and she just hung up on me.
Oh,
and
jeez.
it's like, what the hell?
Some people don't like to help out.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We talked before. I don't want to get too much into it. I'm sure it's difficult to find insurance for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the raid room I wanted to know. Obviously, you said it stays kind of busy on the weekends. Do you have a lot of people that come like over their lunch hour for the lunch break package? That need to get away from work and just break some shit?
God, not necessarily. Majority of the people that come and do it is like families or date night or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's the cool thing though. Like with the whole skate shop, initially just a skate shop, so our demographic was maybe 30 and younger for age range. But now with the rage room, I mean we get all sorts of people. I think the best group that we ever had, it was 4 ladies, and they were gosh, I mean they had to have been pushing upper 60s.
Some true blue hairs, huh?
Yeah, they were just funnier than hell, and they were drinking that day, and they called me ahead of time, and they're like, "Hey, can we bring some beers in?" Blah blah. I was like, "No, we probably shouldn't." But they were just, I mean, they were pushing 60 plus age range, and yeah, they just were so funny. But
I bet.
Yeah, the diversity of people that we get is just, it's incredible.
And they have to walk past your store to get to it, right?
Yep.
Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely.
With the skate shop?
Yep. A lot of we just got into ordering like funny shirts, just shirts with funny stuff.
Graphic, just regular graphic tee type shirt stuff.
Yep. They'll just have like, I don't know, like silly quotes on them and stuff. And yeah, those go really good. Like we'll get rage room customers, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we got to get this for whoever." But yeah, like 2 weeks ago, we had 4 priests come and do it. And I don't know what, if they're Catholic or what they were, but yeah, 4 priests came and did it. And it's just cool. It shows the diversity of people,
Yeah.
Did you have a fight on your hands at all, or any obstacles or hurdles that you had to climb over with like your landlords and stuff about putting it in? Did they fight you on it at all, or they didn't? It didn't bother them at all?
Yeah, no, not at all. It was all smooth sailing. And yeah, putting it all together was a little bit difficult though. Like I don't know, just building everything. You know, that was a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, for them though, they were okay with it.
Because I'm guessing you had to pay for all the construction of that, right?
Yep.
That's what I want people to understand is like when people rent spaces like that, and we talked about it with Danny from 411 too, is usually any kind of updating of the interior is going to be done by the renter.
Right.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure people understand that.
Yep.
Anything else you want to talk about on the Rage Room? It
Gosh.
sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely super fun. Yeah, I think we covered everything though. I think that's about it.
We'll have to go do it.
Yeah, you got a Packers themed one, so Vance can let off some
definitely
energy.
not gonna have a Packer. I mean, I'll go break some Bears shit, but now the Iowa one, that's got my name. Yep, that's gonna happen. If we fucking lose the Iowa in basketball, I'm gonna have to be showing up for that.
Yeah.
And we'll have to film it. That can be our first TikTok.
There you go.
Fuck Iowa.
Yeah, that was fun. We painted everything Iowa colors.
Yeah.
I mean, we like thousands of glasses and stuff, and just spray painted all of the Iowa colors. And then I went over to Salvation Army and found an old helmet, like a football helmet,
Yeah.
and painted it all Iowa. And yeah, that was fun.
What's the cleanup like? Are you obviously you're having to dispose of that yourself?
Yep. The cleanup, it sucks. We constantly have to just, every time somebody goes, you just clean it, like sweep it all to the side, throw it in a tote, and then haul it out to the dumpsters. But
So you're taking it to the dumpsters, not to the dump yourself.
yeah,
So it's going to the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Did you have to sign a special contract for that, or
No,
did you
we
have to let them
didn't.
know you were doing that?
No.
Because obviously you're probably filling it more than the normal business would, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have to do anything for that.
That's good.
There, like certain stuff, all the scrap or whatever, we got to separate, but just the glass stuff, we just throw it in the dumpsters.
Is that business doing pretty well for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty profitable?
Yeah, God, I just looked the other day. We've had like well over a few thousand people that have done it, and when first starting it, it's like, all right, this is just taking up space. I did not expect it to do good, but then it just took off, and so many cool opportunities too just came out of it. Especially like meeting all the business owners that got their advertisement spot in there. It's like there's been so many cool things that have came out of it.
That's awesome.
But gosh, the one thing that we are going to be doing this year is, so at the very back, like we got a big long shelf where you pick out all your items. It's like super long, and there's 4 different rows of it. So in that back room there, we're going to turn it into like a party room. So we get a lot of like office parties, people doing it for like an office, like what do they call it? Like group.
Like a
group
bonding
bonding
or
type
group
thing.
bonding
Group
experience.
Yeah.
So they don't hate each other.
Pretty much. So yeah, we're going to turn that back room into like a party room so you can rent it out for a couple hours for, birthdays and stuff like that. But that's during this year we'll get that done.
Is there an age requirement?
No. As long as the guardian's there. So like for 12 and under, the guardian has to be in the room with them. 13 and older, the guardian can sit outside the room and just watch them through the window.
That's kind of cool. So I can get Declan in there to
There you go.
break some stuff.
Yeah,
He might need that. He's 5.
Oh, okay.
4, whatever he is, 5. Do you have like, besides the party room, do you have any other ventures or projects that you're working on that you're willing to discuss with us, or things that you might have ideas for in the future that you want to discuss and don't give away, I guess?
Got right now, really social media. I mean, with this being one of the slowest months, and then next month's pretty slow as well. And I mean, I've been pushing social media for a while, but like TikTok, back to TikTok, it is now paying super well. So like in the past, I grew the TikTok page to like 112,000 followers. And initially, when I first started getting paid off of it, they had like their
The creator fund.
creator fund is what it was. Yeah. So that was like pennies. I mean, just altogether over like 2+ years, I made like $700. But now TikTok, I mean, they're paying insane amount of money. I mean, it's definitely a profitable platform. So like I just had a video take off, and it got, I think 190, or God, what was it? I think maybe it's at 200,000 views now. But I got paid like $200 for that video. Like just the one. I mean, it's so silly. Just a stupid video.
That's all right. We're getting a little FOMO on the podcast of not being on there yet. We have a page. We just haven't created anything.
Yeah. God, yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I've been recommending TikTok to like people throughout the years because even just not even like looking at like the money from TikTok, it's like for the store itself, the amount of people that have came in, like at the original shop, we had some guys travel 7 hours just to come and check out the shop.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't even supposed to work that day. And I went in there and we just hung out all day. Because, yeah, I mean, the power of social media, it's
TikTok does have a lot of power right now.
Yeah.
And you were saying Facebook. We haven't gotten a whole lot of traction on Facebook. It has not helped us a whole lot. So we're trying to look at other avenues, TikTok and things. Facebook, I think, is kind of a thing of the past.
Right.
A little bit when it comes to that. You know, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
TikTok's where it's at. We just haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah. I know. Once you guys get the video going, I think that'll be huge.
Like the video of the podcast itself?
Yep.
Yeah, and then I got to learn how to edit it.
Yeah.
Edit everything down.
Just clip it.
Right.
That once we can clip it, that would be pretty badass. We can get some stuff going like that, and it'll help our guests. I'm excited on the touching base side of it for video to help our guests out also.
Right.
Get their face out there and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm always the guy. Is also why it took us so long to even do this in the first place. It has to be perfect.
Right.
We got to have the perfect video. And then keep hearing from all these other creators when I see them talk, and they're like, "You just got to fucking do it."
Yeah.
And so I just got to finally I had a cool idea for a video back when football was still going on, and then
we'll probably still maybe get it.
Yeah, we'll do it maybe next
year.
Come
like spring football or something.
Yeah, but we got to do something before spring, so we'll figure something out. But it was a cool idea, and then we just passed up on it, but we'll do it.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like, God, getting over that. I don't know. Like for me, there's a lot of like local people that follow like the TikTok page, and I just make just the dumbest videos. I mean, there's like skits or, you know, I don't know. They're just silly videos, and that's a hard part. It's like, man, what are these guys gonna think, or what are these guys gonna think? Who fucking cares? That's the end of the day. Who fucking cares? Yeah, it's like I gotta just push.
That's why we do the podcast. We don't give. Yeah, we don't give a crap what anybody thinks. Yeah, we're gonna keep talking how we want to talk. Yeah. Is there anything else involving you that you wanted to get into?
Gosh, I think we covered everything. I don't know. I guess I want to say if anybody out there is, you know, struggling with alcohol, you know, I'm an open book. You can call the store, get a hold of me, and I'm always willing to help with any of that stuff.
Would you be willing to do like if we brought you on for another episode, if we did like a Q&A?
Yeah, definitely.
Because we may have, and maybe they won't do it. We will have the capability of doing live broadcast too at that point.
Right.
But even if we don't do it live, we can say, hey, you know, if you've listened to his original podcast, he's coming back on, and we can they do like a Facebook Q&A or whatever, TikTok. Because I can answer some questions on that too. So I'm sure you could answer. I'm sure all four of us could answer.
Oh yeah.
Some questions about addiction. So I think that'd be kind of cool. Would you be open to doing something like that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Are you involved in helping out any addiction type stuff or recovery type stuff or any programs like that?
No, I'm not in any programs at all. Definitely like with the young kids that come in, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to consider myself like an older brother, but I try to guide these kids as much as I can. Like, God, we recently had the one kid came in, and yeah, he's been through hell, and so no matter how stressed out, no matter how much I had going on, no matter what was going on, you know, just take the time. Some of these kids just need somebody to listen to them that's not judging them, you know, and so yeah, that's about all I do. It's like, I mean, friends and people I know will reach out, and yeah, so I'll try to help as many people as I can, but I'm not in any programs, which I would like to be in the future, but yeah, just not as of right now.
Gotcha.
Well, this podcast will be a good platform for you to maybe not get into a program, but we could make it like we could do something with it.
Right.
I think have you on and we can talk about that kind of stuff. I'd like to do it.
Right.
I haven't really ever told my story and what I went through a whole lot in depth, so it'd be kind of fun to go through everything and
Right.
and
we
there's,
like to push a lot, like, and it's kind of the touching base thing, and we've noticed it with a lot of people, and we've pushed it pretty much every time. Is like, there's ways out. You were living in your shop. I mean, you were having a hard time. You lived without electricity.
Right.
You made it out. Yeah, anybody. That's the great thing about America. Anybody can make it out.
Oh,
you just
yeah.
have to. It'll suck. It just sucks, and you just got to do it.
and there are some people that can't go back to it, and some that can get through it and still be able to partake if they wanted to. But I don't want to make that sound like a. That's not what I'm trying to say. But there are different paths people can take to come to the
it's crazy.
same.
Danny told us he
ending
took
point.
a $60 shot and then
Yeah.
never drank again after that.
I don't know if you probably haven't listened to his episode yet.
No, I haven't.
He was a big drinker when he was living up in Rapid City, and yeah, he took a.
He just took a $60 shot and he never drank after that.
Oh, wow.
Hasn't drank since then.
He's like, I didn't get smarter. I didn't feel any better. And I just was like, an epiphany happened, and then he
Right.
hasn't drank since.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy how it just happens to everybody. Everybody's story is different, but it's cool how it kind of comes, how the stories come to the same endpoint.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
So we'll talk about doing that outside of the podcast. But that'd be a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
Yeah, give us some more content too. We've talked to a few different people about that, where we're going to bring them back on for certain Q&A type stuff. So we're going to get political here. Cool with that?
Yeah.
So with an election year coming up, how do you feel about where the state of our country is right now? And do you feel that we are being well represented at the federal and state levels?
Gosh, I definitely don't feel like we're being well represented. I think a lot needs to change, and it's we're in a downhill spiral right now, and the past 4 years, it just has shown some true colors, and yeah, I mean it's a scary time. It's a scary time to be alive. It's a scary time to be in business. It's like what's gonna come, and yeah, I think everything. We got some crooked people that need to be taken out, and yeah, I hope that
Taken out of office.
Yeah,
Taken out of office.
I mean, I'm fine the other way. I just
Either
don't want to put words in your mouth.
right.
We need them taken out of office. We'll just add that extra word in there real quick.
I've definitely noticed that a lot with business owners too. It's a different the way we approach talking
different
about
scare.
politics. Yeah, it's a very big different scare.
Right.
So it's good to hear that from you too. It's just, everybody says the same thing,
Right.
whether they are a Democrat or Republican. Like it's not in the best spot for a business right now. So
Yeah, I think this year might be a little rough,
yeah,
but we'll see.
Could be another summer of love. We never know.
Yeah.
it could be. We're hoping not.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the systems that are in place still work in today's time? The 2-party system. Do you feel like that's still something that's viable? Do you think it works?
I think so. I think just getting the right people in the right positions.
So not career politicians anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
That are just fighting each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I don't know. It's hopefully they can get everything figured out, because the way things have been and everything that all of us have went through the past 4 years, it's insane. It's just
crazy.
completely insane.
Yep.
I mean, just a lot of people turn their head to it, and they're like, I feel like it's because they don't believe that people can be that evil. I mean, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there's
You're
clear
not.
evidence out there of this corrupt, evil shit that these guys are doing.
You'll have to listen to our other podcast.
Yeah, we dive into that a lot more.
Yeah, we definitely touch more on what you're speaking
And you're
about.
definitely not a conspiracy theorist, but you are right. There are people that just are blinded to it. They don't.
I know. I feel like that they don't want to believe that people can be that evil.
Yeah.
Most people are good. Most people have a good heart, so they don't even comprehend that people can actually be that evil. And I mean, they are. We got some evil people running.
I think
this country.
people have a propensity for evil. I mean, people are selfish. You have to fight to not be selfish. I mean, that's kind of the way people are not inherently good. They have to choose to be good,
Right.
and you have to fight it that way.
Right.
Usually, it's easier to be evil.
Yeah,
It's a lot easier to be
because
evil.
it's a human nature. It's our nature.
Mob
To
mentality.
lie, to cheat, steal.
Yeah, you have to
easier to do.
You have to choose to be good, and once you realize that, and then you start. Yeah, I mean, we're sheltered here. I feel in Norfolk, but especially I'm
places,
from Battle
yeah.
Creek, but a small town. You're sheltered there in a sense that, I mean, everybody knows everybody per se, so you have a sense of comfortability. But then you go to these bigger cities, it's like shit. Like this is a whole different world. It's a whole different world.
I know God, if you look at like California right now,
Yeah.
it's like that used to be where everybody wanted to go. Now, I mean, oh my God.
You couldn't pay me to go there now.
You couldn't pay me either.
It was one of my favorite vacation spots, and I can't even take my kids there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
I've only been to California once in my life.
Well, I went to Michael Jordan's basketball camp 5 years in a row out there in Santa Barbara, right on the coast. I loved it, but I can't even go take my kids to experience it right now because it'd just be a shit show.
Right. I know. I think it's important that we all speak our mind, come together,
True.
I mean, it's intentional that just dividing everybody, and it's important that we all come together, and even if we don't agree on the same stuff, it's like we're still in the same boat. We're cockroaches to these guys.
Oh yeah.
And we got to come together and make a change.
I feel like what you were talking about, like people just don't believe it. I think that's by design. They just everybody's so comfortable because we're a material driven country right now, and we could be miserable economically, everything, but our lifestyle, our comfortability lifestyle is so much better than it's been ever in the point of human history. It's hard to notice the shit coming. Like you just kind of numb to it. You
Blinders.
just don't. Yeah, you have your blinders on. You're not really paying attention to it.
The
I
things
like
around
that.
you. It's just they're going their day-to-day business and doing the same thing, same routine every day, and don't see.
We're not seeing what's coming 6 months down the road.
Right.
Some of us are.
Well, some people are. Yeah.
Don't turn the news on. Just live your life. That's why people don't have an opinion anymore.
Right.
They don't pay attention.
Yeah, they don't have their own opinion. They go off of what their friends are doing or what they're
Or they listen to one media group and they don't see both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
They're narrow-minded.
That's very true. And no offense to the older generation, but that's kind of where that sits. It's our generation too, but it's
I think that comes with age a little bit.
It does, and it's
Everybody starts out liberal.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you start paying taxes.
We've talked about that.
What's Shane Gillis's thing? It's, everybody's a liberal until you what was it? Until you start going and learning history. Until you start learning history. But anyway, that's a whole other subject. So we don't need to talk about which party you're affiliated with. We don't try to get too deep into that. But how would you change some of the things that you see that are bad? Is there something? Any ideas that you have? Even at the local level.
At the local level, I really don't know. I mean, I think for like the big scale, it would be, our borders just being wide open. I mean, that's this insanity. And then sending all of this money, we have Americans sleeping on the streets, sir, some of them might choose to do that. But I mean, we got to take care of us first. We can't be the helper if we're not helping ourselves. So I think just focus on America, focus on us first, and then we can, it'd be cool to help all these other countries and do all the things that we've been doing, but just, I don't know, the complete insanity. And, for taxes too, it's like, if we could just pay a set amount of tax, whether you make $1 or you make $100 million, it's, if you pay 15% of what you make, and the money was spent well, if we could have a say on where the money goes instead of being funneled into the politicians' pockets, it's.
We're supposed to have a say.
Right.
That's by who we elect.
Yeah.
But that's not the case at this point in time.
But they don't have to listen to you either.
Right. See, I think, just set tax pay. Just pay a set amount. Like 15% of what you make. Like guys in California, they're paying this. I mean, it's the definition of slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is. And just close up our borders. Get.
I mean, even here in Nebraska, we're basically 30%.
Right.
For middle class people, you're basically right at 30%.
Right. For them to
on money that You pay the taxes on the income tax, then you pay the taxes when you go buy something, then you pay the taxes on when you sell that something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
For them,
And like you said, if they could spend it the right way, that's the key. Like,
yeah,
If I had confidence that they were going to spend that money the right way, I don't mind paying taxes.
oh yeah,
But when my roads are shit, my police force is shit, everything you taxes pay for is shit, then I don't need to give you any more money. You've failed.
Right.
You're no longer in charge of this shit. In my opinion.
Yep. No, it's almost God with all the crookedness. It's like it almost feels morally wrong paying taxes. Obviously, we got
You're
it.
not
but
wrong.
It's like
I think it's
God.
about time we go throw some tea in the harbor. That's all I'm saying.
Yo.
Yeah, what would that be now? Like, what would that be today in today's time?
Like Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, what would that be in today's time? How could you hurt the government so bad that it would turn in our favor without killing anybody?
Everybody takes maximum withholdings out of their payroll and nobody fucking pays it the next year. Fuck their 87 IRS agents, 87,000 IRS agents. 330 million people not paying taxes. That would end pretty fucking quick.
But you're not getting everybody on board for that, though.
No, I know.
I say pull out the wood chipper.
Get 100 million people not doing it.
Right?
Take them out. I mean, I'm on this board now. No longer, we're not taking them out of office. We're just taking them out.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. That's probably enough politics now. We'll end here. Where do you see yourself going in the future? Are you enjoying where you are? Do you see yourself staying in Northeast Nebraska?
Yeah, 100%. We'll always stay. I mean, in Norfolk, at least have a location in Norfolk. But the main goal is to get multiple locations for like Wisper the store. I don't know if we'll always have a rage room. You know, it's been super fun.
It'd be a cool like side thing to always have attached to it.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll definitely get more locations, and then just really, really focus on social media and getting the website going. And yes, social media. You know, I've said from the beginning, I love Norfolk. I love the whole community. You know, it's growing. It's an amazing community here. But, you know, if you're only staying in Norfolk, you can only ever be as big as Norfolk allows you to be. So we really got to start pushing on social media.
You're not wrong.
Right.
I like that.
So,
I like that a lot. Well, it's true. It's evident with the podcast and how, not saying we had slow growth, but it's true.
Right.
If we stay within local parameters, which is what we're trying to do to an extent, but then we're also trying to get bigger. But
right.
yeah, I think you're right. I think social media is going to have to be a platform that we definitely focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's good that you want to stick around here, though.
Yeah.
Even if you want to open up new shops and stuff.
Right. That's like, gosh, my big goal is to have like a headquarters here in Norfolk, just a big warehouse to ship everything out of, you know, like sell crazy online and push social media like crazy, and then just have a warehouse. And like an indoor skate park is a huge goal. Have that here in town for like all the kids, and have like after school programs. And, you know, definitely got a lot of goals, but got a long ways to go to get there.
Do you like the storefront model?
Yeah.
The brick and mortar model, do you want to keep that as a main part of your business, is with a brick and mortar style?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you know, as big
as a hangout group, or, you know, because it seems like it's been really good with you with the kids, and like you've really connected with the youth, and so I think you can't get that if you were just strictly online.
Right, 100%. Yeah, and I think I don't know. It's like ideally, I'd like just to have, you know, a many locations, and then have like the headquarters just provide as many jobs as possible. You know, we don't need a million guys, you know, boxing up orders, but if we can have retail stores all over the place, then we can really, you know, provide a lot of jobs.
You and I should talk. We'll talk later. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else you want to get out there? Anything else you want to promote? Anything else for yourself?
No, I think we covered about everything.
Well, we'll get you back on. We'll do like what we talked about, and maybe do like a Q&A podcast, talk about alcohol, substance abuse, any kind of things.
Bring on a panel or something too at some point, if you'd be fine with that, if we get some other people that have gone through it and dealt with it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. We've only got availability of 4 mics for now, but we can always share. We've talked about once we have the studio, we can pass the mic back and forth. And
right.
but yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So
Heck
I
yeah.
appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is huge, and I love that you guys are doing this.
Well, we appreciate
you.
it. All right, we will catch you guys next time.